There are two simple concepts that if you get right will have a larger impact on your ability to acquire new clients at scale than your ad copy, than your sales funnel, than even the pricing of your product or service. I personally have spent over $4 million of my own money in order to acquire clients for our business, and we've had the pleasure of working with thousands of other online businesses. And I can tell you that without a doubt, without these two things, there's absolutely no way a business can really scale. So the first thing you need in order to acquire clients at scale is a world-class offer. This is the first thing that we work on with our clients before we start building out sales funnels or advertising campaigns for them, because we know that even with $1 million in advertising spend, the best video sales that are in the world, the best sales process in the world, without what we call a cold-friendly offer, it doesn't matter at all. And I've seen this on the other version of things, where I see people come into our business, they have absolutely terrible sales economics, they have incredibly high price point for their marketplace, they have like literally no acquisition systems, they have no funnels, no website, yet the offer is world-class. It is cold-friendly. It is a no-brainer, if you will, and these people are making money hand over fist. And like I said, on the other side of it, you have literally people that are split testing and getting all the software in the world, and they're testing like 500 different things, and they've joined 50 different programs in order to build YouTube ads and Facebook ads and YouTube organic and LinkedIn outreach messaging, and it's still not working. And so the main differentiating factor that I've learned has to do with the offer itself. And I'm not going to go too deep inside this because this is what we do with our clients, but I do want to show you like the thing that you have to first really nail down is what the starting point is. So who are you specifically working with? Because if you work with everybody, then you work with nobody. And this is even something that we've had a difficult time with in the past 12 months, because I was just trying to get more narrow and more narrow and more narrow with our avatar, to the point now that we literally have a one pager in a Google document. And when we work with someone, it says they have to have this, they have to have this, they have to have this. It's like a checklist our sales team has to go through. And this has increased our client success tenfold. It has lowered our cost per acquisition tenfold. It's increased renewals, referrals. It's been unbelievable. But so many people sleep on the fact that your avatar, the starting point, where they're coming from, is just as critical as what you're doing for them. Because you offer somebody who is, let's say, making $10 million a year, a solution for somebody who's making $1 million a year, you're not going to get a lot of resonance, and same vice versa, right? And I'm going to get more into that into the second point here, but obviously the first point of world-class offer is a starting point. The second point is the ending point. So where are you taking this person to? What is the end destination that you're taking them to? If you are helping somebody lose weight or you're helping somebody feel better, that's not exactly a specific ending point. It's very difficult for someone to come to you and say, hey, here's some money so that I can feel better. Or the only thing that really works for that is drugs, to be honest with you. So especially if you're in the business to business world, you have to get incredibly specific with what the end point, what is the transformation, where are you taking these people to? Because in the business to business world, everything is return on investment based. So they have to think, if I pay you this money, I'm going to get this back. For example, recruiters. If you're a recruiter and you're charging somebody money, you are charging anywhere from 15 to 30% of the first year's salary. And the business owner is happy to pay 30% of the first year's salary because they know that if they hire this person, they're going to unlock, obviously, 3, 4, 5 times the amount of money that they're making right now. So if you can transform your endpoint into something that is very specific and preferably monetary based, especially in the business to business world, then you will have a much better chance at getting resonance with all of your messaging. And getting the transformation down is just as important as the starting point. And you can't get the end point until you have the starting point. So you can't get where you're going to end up if you don't know where you're starting. So it's very important to do it in this order. And then of course you have the steps in between. And in my experience, this is the biggest differentiator when you're talking about an offer, is how do you get them from the starting point to the ending point? And like I said, this is the first thing we work on with our clients. It's like, okay, you have an offer and it's decent, it's good. And that's probably why you're doing well. But in order to make it so that you are literally fending off clients with a bat, we need to make it so that you almost guarantee success, if not guarantee success for your clients. And the only way you can do that is if you have a crystal clear roadmap. Okay, you're going to come in and we're going to do this, we're going to do this, we're going to do this, and we're going to do this. And most people only have step 1 figured out, or they'll only do step 1 and 2, especially in the online world, right? So the third part of the world-class offer, of a cold-friendly offer, is creating these steps here that are such a no-brainer for our clients that they can't help but say no. For example, one of the steps that we realize in order to get our clients from where they're coming in at to to them having a predictable, profitable, scalable client acquisition system is that they have a profitable Facebook ads campaign. But in order to have a profitable Facebook ads campaign, there's a lot of steps that go into that. And so that's when we separate ourselves from our competitors. And on top of that, we knew that there was always a sticking point around getting videos edited and uploaded. So one of the steps that we do is we script your videos for you. We train you on how to shoot the ads, and then we actually edit and upload the videos for you. Our team will edit it for you, done for you, right? And so because of that, it becomes very easy for us to separate ourselves from our competitors, and it becomes a cold-friendly offer. It's much easier for us to sell this to people than if we just say, oh yeah, we help you get more clients. So hopefully you guys are starting to see that. That's the first part of having a system that acquires clients at scale. Not anything to do with, what is the cold message says, not anything to do with what is your targeting, what is your price point, any of that stuff. None of that, all that stuff is ticky-tacky stuff. These are huge levers you can pull to have a big difference. And the second critical piece to a profitable client acquisition system is something that generates leads and appointments on autopilot is something that I call the qualification funnel. And I've talked about this in a few more of my YouTube videos. And in those YouTube videos, I go so much more in depth on, the actual messaging templates that we use and how to scrape leads, et cetera, et cetera. This is more just so you understand the two biggest levers you can pull. And this is what we call the qualification funnel here. And the thing that I'll just highlight is this far left one here, the audience, right? Because going back to once we have actually identified where our starting point is right here, the next thing that we have to decide is where are we going to find that specific avatar? So most people will say my starting point is business owners. That is not specific enough for you to have a campaign that's actually scalable and profitable. So instead, we need to get really granular with our audience, no matter what campaign we're doing, ads, outbound, YouTube, any of that stuff. We need to get specific with our audience. So instead of just business owners, maybe B2B business owners, maybe B2B business owners that are making at least $8,000 monthly recurring revenue, maybe B2B business owners that are making $8,000 monthly recurring revenue that have a lifetime value of $3,000 or more, maybe all of that, and they are also have at least 3 team members, maybe all of that, and they also don't have a CRM, right? So these are all very specific things that if we can write these out on a one-pager, it makes the whole sales process easier. But more importantly, you can look at that and say, where do those people hang out, right? Where can I find exactly those people? And most people, when they're looking at their campaigns, they're saying it's not working. It's not working because you're just spraying and praying. You're going back and you're trying to target, maybe subconsciously or consciously, that very specific one that we talked about a second ago, B2B, $8,000 a month, $3,000 lifetime value, don't have a CRM, 3 team members. That's who you want to talk to. But all of your messaging, all of your ads, everything that you're sending out there is just doing any kind of business owner that has an email address. And you're wondering why your response rate is 0.0001%. So that's why it's the second part of this is to get granular with who you're serving and then find those people. Where do those people hang out? And the reason this is called a qualification funnel is because if you look at the bottom of this, if you can nail on the left-hand side here, the audience first, it takes so much less work throughout the whole sales process. We've had clients come into our company's scaling systems that have a 2 to 3 step sales process. Their sales cycle is 45 to 60 days. And that's because they are not doing any kind of qualification in the audience or any kind of qualification in the messaging, the ad, the outbound messaging. And instead they're doing all of the qualification and the discovery and the demo call. The problem with that's not very scalable. They have 15 salespeople. They have a 60-day sales cycle. They have 3 steps that have to go through in order to close a deal. But instead, if you go on the left-hand side here and we just switch, and this is what we do for them, we just switch around their audience, their messaging. We make their offer much more refined and appealing to the mass market. Then instead of we switch back over to the audience and we just say, hey, let's just go after these people who are already 99% of the way there and they're ready to buy, and let's just put your messaging in front of them. And when you do that, I'm not kidding with you guys. All of a sudden, we see their sales cycle go from 60 days to less than 30 days. We see the number of salespeople they need go from like 10 to 3 because they're not having as many sales calls, but their show-up rate increases, their close rate increases, their average cash per close increases, all because they're talking to the right people. So what we're not looking here to have just numbers. Everyone talks about more leads, more booked calls. I could care less about any of that stuff. I just want more closed deals, right? And I want to do it in an efficient way. So, our company is able to do 8 figures plus a year with just a few dozen team members because of how much we focus on this stuff and how much we cancel or curate anybody that's not a good fit for our service.